Okay, next item that we're going to go through on our list of the 19 things they don't teach you in real estate school. So once again, this is Paula with the North Carolina Business Development Coaching. And next item we're going to be going through and starting your real estate business and getting it set up and operating like a business is supposed to is leading with revenue and not expenses. When you first get your license, it's one of the cheapest businesses to start and get launched. At the same time, you're also going to get 1,000,001 phone calls in regards to people trying to sell you something, sell you leads from Zillow, sell you leads from Realtor.com. So it's really important that you set a budget and operate off of that budget in the very beginning, because you want to make sure that you're making money before you start spending it so you have a sustainable business long term. So when we talk about leading with revenue and not expenses, there's a couple things that are important to think about. Avoid all shiny objects. You're going to get phone calls and people reaching out to you about the newest and best closing gift or the best website, things like that. Like I said in one of my previous videos, real estate really is a belly-to-belly business. You can build your business just on conversations with people before you ever start spending money. Live off of your database and the people that you already know. Lead generate, kind of boots on the ground, get your jersey dirty, as we call it, is one of the easiest and the least expensive ways to get your business started. Okay? It is not true that you have to spend money to earn business. Most people say it takes money to make money, and that's not correct. If you have a database and you have conversations and people that you can go directly to and teach and talk about your business and ask for the business, you are better off than most, okay? It does take leads, but there are ways to gain leads in the real estate business without having to spend money up front. Okay, that's so much of what we'll get into in our next session, which is lead generation, how you lead generate with your strengths that are specific to you to find leads and build your business, okay? But you really don't need to be spending a lot of money up front. So I'm going to encourage you to start a budget. And we're going to go through a budget real quick here just to make sure you have an understanding. You'll also be given an opportunity to download the budget model to work through it yourself, okay? There is no shortcut to the success in real estate. You have to put in the work to build the business, okay? And once you've put in that work for your first year and a half, and you have built yourself a sustainable pipeline and database, you will have the ability to have a ongoing referral basis in your business, okay? So let's talk a little bit about your budget model, okay? So let's go through a quick budget, okay? And let's talk about some of the terms that you're going to hear about in the real estate industry. First and foremost, you're going to hear of cost of sales. That is a business term in regards to what does it cost you to be in business? What is money that you're going to have to pay out, okay? One of the first things to consider is the amount of money you're paying to a company. Once you get a license, you're a provisional broker here in the state of North Carolina, and that will require you to affiliate with a broker in charge. Depending on whatever company you join, there is going to be a company split, okay? So you have to take into account what that company split may be. So I'm going to use, in this example, a company that I was with, and with their company dollar and their split of 70-30, I paid an annual amount of $23,000, okay? So that's the amount paid in annually to my company split. Now, as you continue to grow, do you plan on joining or growing a team, or even joining a team? If that's the case, you may have the cost of buyer's agents, a transaction coordinator who's doing all of your paperwork. You may have a stager that you bring in, but you'll need to take into account. So in my business, I use a transaction coordination company called ETC, Expedited Transaction Coordination, and they charge me $250 a transaction. Okay, so just doing some quick math, I'm going to grab my calculator here. Just doing some quick math, I average two closed transactions a month right now, in addition to my coaching business. And so if I'm paying $250 a transaction times 2 closings a month times 12 months, my annual expense of that is going to be $6,000. Okay, which makes my total cost of sales $29,000. All right. Like I said, you're going to be given a blank copy of this budget model for you to download and work through yourself. Okay. Depending on where you are, some of these in your first year are not going to apply. Salaries are probably not going to apply to you up front because you may not have a full-time admin, you may not have a full-time stager, a full-time photographer, things like that. Okay. One of the most important pieces to set a budget to and stick within is your lead generation. Now, by lead generation, I mean, where are you getting your leads from? You know, if it's doing open houses, if it's door knocking, if it's networking, all those are free. But however, if you're paying for leads on some sort of platform, that would be considered a cost of lead generation. If you have a dialer system you're utilizing to make a large number of phone calls, that may be part of your lead generation or your supplies. Okay, so this being the case, you want to set a budget for this. So in my business, I average $1,000 a month in regards to lead generation costs. You know, that's part of being a member of HomeLight or OpCity or Zillow leads, Realtor.com leads, whatever that may be, but set a budget for that and stick within that budget. Now, your budget is also something that you're going to revisit at least twice a year to make sure that you're getting a return on your investment. And what I mean by that is if I was paying $1,000 a month for paid leads through a company and I was not receiving good qualified leads that were turning into business, I would no longer be paying that money. I would find a better way to utilize my money to make sure I'm getting a good return on that. Okay. Marketing could be things such as your website, if you're boosting ads on social media, things like that. So set a marketing budget. Okay. I consistently spend about $300 a month on marketing, and a lot of that is boosted ads of services. I use a company called AdWorks for online advertising and almost classified ads of sorts. And then specifically when I get new listings, I boost those all over the place to make sure I get as much exposure on those listings as possible. Okay, you need to take into account if you have an office space you're renting, desk space you're renting, things like that. Okay. Education and training. I'm a sole believer that you never stop learning. This is an industry that you will consistently learn something new every single day. And so you need to set a budget to make sure that you're on top of your game. Okay. So education and training is also going to include the cost for your 8 hours of CE annually, your 30 hours of post-licensing class annually. Do you have set up wanting to attend some national conferences, national real estate conferences? Take that into account. So for me personally, I attend a lot of real estate conferences, and I also am consistently taking online training courses. So my education and training, I personally set aside about $3,000 a year for. Okay. MLS and board dues, those are things we have to do our job, to do our business. Our local MLS here in the Triangle is $150 a quarter or $600 a year, and then our board dues. So, you know, make numbers easy. $1,200 a year needs to be set aside for MLS and board dues. Meals and entertainment. Are you taking clients out? Are you treating your allied resources and your core group of people? Okay. Meals and entertainment, you can only write off an average of 50% of them on your taxes, so definitely talk to your CPA about what that should be in regards to your budget. But on average, you know, I would say about $100 a month or $1,200 a year. Okay, so you're going to work your way through this and build your ideal budget, and once you have that set, you are going to stick within that budget. So if we add all these up, I have a total operating expense of $6,700 a year, and that added to my total cost of sales up above means my total operating expense annually is going to equal $35,700. So one, I need to know that because I need to make more money than that annually to ensure that I can cover my total operating expenses and cost of sales of being in the business. So now this is only one step in the process. Now that we have a budget set, the next thing we need to do is go into, the next module is going to be about lead generation. How many contacts do I need to make? How many conversations do I need to have on a daily, weekly, monthly basis in order to hit my database and contact goals to ensure that I have the return on clients, a full pipeline that I can work and move forward towards closings, because obviously the closings is what's going to pay us long term. And so I need to, now that I know what budget I want to work within, I now know where I need to set my financial goals to ensure that I have a successful operating, profitable business and can then justify my lead generation according to that. So stay tuned. Take the time to download the PDF I'm going to share with you, work through your own budget model. And then next module, we're going to go through lead generation so we can know how many contacts we need to make moving forward.